Welcome, everyone. My name is Luisa Munera. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm Senior Manager of Artistic Programs at YoungArts. It is my absolute pleasure to welcome you and thank you for joining us for our third info session for the 2025 YoungArts National Arts Competition, geared specifically toward prospective applicants, you. Before we begin, I just wanted to mention a couple of quick housekeeping notes. This information session is being recorded so that we can share this resource with applicants who may not have been able to join us today. We'll address frequently asked questions, as well as the questions you submitted during registration at the end of the session. Due to the number of attendees in today's session, we won't be able to take any questions from the chat. But if you have a question that doesn't get answered today, we encourage you to email those to apply@youngarts.org. This evening, our goal is to provide you with all the key information about the competition and give you a better grasp on the resources that are available to you. In this information session, we will go over what YoungArts is, our mission, vision, and values, the process for becoming a YoungArts Award winner, which is through our National Arts Competition, the benefits of becoming a YoungArts winner, the benefits of becoming a YoungArts winner and the opportunities YoungArts offers for life, winter year opportunities and in-person programming, and the competition and Young Arts Week, including eligibility, how to apply, the student list service, the process for adjudications, winner levels, awards, and presidential scholars in the arts. Before we get into the details of all that YoungArts has to offer and introduce you to our presenters for this evening, I want to share a short 3-minute video. It's one of my favorites to show folks who are interested in understanding the full scope of what the organization does. So please sit back and enjoy.
Each year, the National Foundation for Advancement in the Arts presents young artists with the opportunity of a lifetime. Its goal is to identify and encourage young artists nationally.
I don't think I knew exactly how my life would turn out, but I knew that music was something that I wanted to do. I didn't know if I could do it.
I was in high school. It's probably 14, 15 years old. That's where I really started to get into jazz. Then through middle school, but like a lot of kids, I was one of those kids trying to leave my horn in the cubby.
And then Crystal started screaming again, and he said, "Oh, you can open the door, you open."
Talking about an unreal environment that how are they going to be able to connect?
By the end of high school, I thought, I'm kind of good at this. This is what I like to do. And really going to YoungArts when I was 18 was the first time that I thought that this sort of hobby that I have was something bigger.
I was shocked one day when I got a letter that said that I was accepted and invited to go to Miami. That was really the first time in my young life that anyone had referred to me as an artist.
Just being surrounded by other artists and just full of so much energy and excitement. Yeah, I just felt somehow a sense of belonging.
Going to YoungArts showed me that, you are your own artist, and what can I say as a complete artist?
YoungArts is one of the only organizations in the U.S. that supports artists across 10 disciplines, beginning with the critical moment when they decide to pursue a life in the arts and continuing throughout their careers. For over 40 years, YoungArts has encouraged and boosted the careers of thousands of future artists Across America, we are the premier organization for support of our next generation of promise and talent. We are YoungArts.
It is now my pleasure to introduce 3 YoungArts alums who span practices in the visual, literary, and performing arts. David Potters, Priscilla Aleman, and Kai Naima Williams. David Potters is a multidisciplinary performer, writer, and producer. He made his professional stage debut in the world premiere of John Patrick Shanley's Prodigal Son at Manhattan Theater Club. His writing for performance has been presented and developed by Labyrinth Theater Company, the Cherry Lane Theater, La Mama, New Blue, The River, and others. As a culture writer and essayist, his work has appeared in Interview Magazine, High Snobbity, The Iffy, and The Iffy. He produced and hosted the storytelling showcase Freshman Class at Bowery Poetry Club from 2016 to 2018, and has produced and programmed the reading series Good Evening Rep, the Jane Ballroom, George Room, and others since 2022. Our second presenter, Priscilla Aleman, is an artist based in New York and Miami. With her background in archaeology, she uses sculpture to retrace ideas around the afterlife, pre-Columbian cosmology, and the interplay of cultures from the global South. Her work has been exhibited across the country and internationally at the Smithsonian Museum of Art, the Bronx Museum, the New York Botanical Garden, Readytex Art in Suriname, Art and Culture Center Hollywood, the Kampong, the Explorers Club, and Virginia Commonwealth University. Aleman's work has been reviewed in numerous publications. She has been part of multiple residencies. She earned her BA with honors from Cooper Union and an MFA in visual art from Columbia University. And lastly, Kai Naima Williams is a multidisciplinary writer and performing artist based in Harlem, New York. She is the author of 2 poetry chapbooks, Tomorrow Maps and He Tried to Drown the Ocean, I Waved, and the children's book, The Bridges Yuri Built, How Yuri Kuchiyama Marched Across the Movements. Her writing has been featured in Louisiana Literature, Abolition Is, and Crown Magazine, and the upcoming anthology from Haymarket Books, Black and Asian Feminist Solidarities, amongst other publications. Her work has been honored by the Tennessee Williams and New Orleans Literary Festival, the Asian American Arts Alliance, Mokada, and the New York Times. She is also a co-founder at Eat at the Table Theater Company. And now I turn it over to David Potters.
Hello. Making sure I can be heard. Okay, cool. Hi guys, I'm David. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm a performer, writer, and a 2010 Young Arts alum in voice. And I'm going to begin by telling you a bit about Young Arts. So first off, just kind of on mission, Young Arts identifies exceptional young artists, amplifies their potential, and invests in their lifelong creative freedom. We believe in a world that embraces artists as vital to our humanity. And our core values at Young Arts are excellence, collaboration, inclusivity, experimentation, respect, and integrity. And these concepts underpin our efforts to provide artists with space, funding, mentorship, professional development, and community. And we strive to incorporate and communicate them throughout all of our programs. So Young Arts is one of the only organizations in the US that supports artists across 10 disciplines and at all stages of development. So beginning with that critical moment when students decide to pursue a life in the arts, and then continuing throughout their careers. So just on eligibility, it's artists ages 15 to 18 or grades 10 through 12 who are encouraged to apply to the national competition in the discipline of your choice. And all applications are judged by esteemed panels of artists through a rigorous blind adjudication process, and award winners are offered a lifetime of artistic support and ongoing connection with an extraordinarily robust network of peers and mentors. So these are the disciplines that we offer. Young Arts welcomes submissions in the following categories. So it's classical music, dance, design, film, jazz, photography, theater, visual arts, voice, and writing. And then all of those, or many of those categories, break down further into subcategories, all of which are on our website. So back on eligibility, to be eligible to apply to the annual Young Arts competition, prospective applicants must either be a citizen of the US, a permanent resident, or legally able to receive taxable income in the US. So an example would be having a social security number. That's number one. Number two is be in grades 10 through 12 or age 15 through 18 as of December 1st of the year that you're applying. And three is if you're selected as a winner with distinction, this would be the first time that you would be attending Young Arts Week. So you could have won in the past, but if you're going to Miami for Young Arts Week, that would be your first time doing so. Benefits. Okay, so there are a lot of benefits to being a Young Arts winner. These include cash awards, mentorship by accomplished artists, a lifetime of creative and professional support, a peer network of distinguished artists, and finally, nomination for U.S. Presidential Scholar in the Arts. And of course, sort of the main entry point is the in-person programming like National Young Arts Week and the Young Arts Lab, which we're going to get into a bit later. And in addition to the programming, resources, and opportunities available during an artist's winter year, Young Arts is proud to offer lifelong support to our artist community. And these sorts of things include creative development opportunities, grants and awards, professional development resources, and the ability to connect with an intergenerational network of artists across the nation. As you see, we were founded in 1981, so there's a massive, robust network of alumni, about 20,000 of us, who you will be a part of if you become a winner. So all this to say, Young Arts is invested in the continuous support of artists across their lifetime. So I'm sure you're now thinking, this is great, but how will I be able to access all of these resources and opportunities? And your first step in doing that is going to be filling out this application, applying to the Young Arts competition. So I'm going to throw to Priscilla so she can tell you a bit more about what the actual application entails.
Hi, thank you, David. Okay, I'm not on mute. Good. Well, hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. My name is Priscilla Aleman, and I use she, her pronouns. I am a professional artist and filmmaker and was a visual arts alumni for year 2009 and presidential scholar. And yeah, that's just a tidbit about me. So I'm going to transition over to our Young Arts website where I can highlight the various resources we have available. youngarts.org/apply is a home for anything application related. Consider it your application toolkit. Here, you can find the application login, sign up for the email updates if you or someone you know aren't signed up to hear from us, view the application timeline, and learn more about the competition. One thing to note, if you are familiar with the application already, is check out what's new for 2025. We have a few little adjustments here. So something I want to highlight is where to find the discipline requirements. Requirements state what is needed to apply, including submission information. So it is very important that you review these closely. There are a few places on this page to find this info. Additionally, you can check out the discipline pages to find the requirements and access other resources like tips and past performances. You can find requirements, tips, and examples of past winners on these pages. For example, here's the anthology where you can find, sorry, I'm going fast. So there's videos, but you can find the anthology where you can find for design, photography, visual arts, and writing works from all our past winners. And it's beautiful. So definitely take your time looking through these pages, highly inspiring, and just gives you a sense of what we're creating here. So how to apply. Once you reviewed the requirements, it's time to apply. So hit the application login and it will take you to kaleidoscope.com. Once you have created or logged into your account, begin an application by clicking Begin. After you complete your application profile, you will be redirected to the discipline-specific application. Fee waivers are available to applicants, which covers the $35 application fee. To qualify, you will need to provide a letter from your parent, guardian, teacher, or principal requesting to waive your fee within the application. If you are 18 years old and unable to obtain a qualifying letter, you may submit one yourself with the application. The fee waiver must be uploaded and submitted with the online application. We are not able to accept waivers via email. Fees will automatically be waived at checkout. The deadline for application to be submitted is Thursday, October 17th, 2024, this year at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Application review begins Friday, October 18th, and all award winners will be notified by November 25th, 2024. All right, so student list service. Another feature to highlight within the application is our student list service option. If you opt into the YoungArts SLS, YoungArts will share your contact information, name, address, and email, and the name and address of your secondary educational institution with selected colleges, conservatories, and universities that participate in this program. YoungArts does not share phone numbers, parent-guardian contact information, educator contact information, or citizenship information. You may get emails and/or postal mail from these institutions. Contact from colleges, conservatories, and universities that participate in the YoungArts Student List Service does not guarantee your acceptance into an educational institution. All right, so I'm going to hand this over to Kai.
Thank you, Priscilla. Hi, everyone. My name is Kai. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm a writer and performing artist, and I was a Young Arts alumni in writing. I attended National Young Arts Week in 2015. Okay, so we're going to move on to the 2 winner levels of the Young Arts Awards. So for the 2024 cycle, awards are given at 2 levels. The Young Arts Awards recognizes work that demonstrates exceptional technique, a strong sense of artistry, and a depth of thinking and performance that exceeds the level of peers at your career stage. Young Arts winners receive a monetary award of $250. And then the Young Arts Award with Distinction recognizes work that demonstrates exceptional technique, a strong, sophisticated, nuanced, and clear artistic point of view, and a depth of thinking and performance that far exceeds the levels of peers at your career stage. Winners at this level are invited to participate in the National Young Arts Week and will have their work further evaluated for cash awards of up to $10,000. Award winners with distinction who attend National Young Arts Week and meet eligibility requirements are also considered for nomination to the U.S. Presidential Scholars Program. So I know a lot of you are interested in learning about the process for becoming a U.S. Presidential Scholar in the Arts. So the first step is to apply to Young Arts National Arts Competition. Award winners who attend National Young Arts Week are considered for nomination by their respective discipline-specific panelists based on their artistic achievement and their participation in the program. So candidates must, one, meet the eligibility requirements and academic standards set by the White House Commission on Presidential Scholars. Two, graduate between January and August of the year they're being considered. And if an award winner attends National Young Arts Week, but they're not yet set to graduate, they become eligible for candidacy in their graduation year. And they'll receive instructions from Young Arts at that point. Three, have a cumulative GPA of 3.25 or higher on a 4.0 scale. And four, be a citizen or permanent resident of the United States. So once you're nominated, artists must further apply directly to the program once they receive their invitation through the U.S. Department of Education and adhere to all application requirements to be considered. So for more information on the Presidential Scholars Program, eligibility requirements, and application process, you can visit www.ed.gov/PSP. Okay, so the following programming will be made available to 2025 Young Arts Award winners. Winners with distinction are invited to National Young Arts Week in Miami. That's in January 5th through 12th, with classical music and voice arriving on January 4th. Winners with distinction convene in Miami on an all-expense-paid program to collaborate with peers across 10 disciplines and develop their craft with internationally recognized leaders in their field during National Young Arts Week. Young Arts winners with distinction present their work to the public over the course of 5 nights of performances, writers' readings, and an exhibition. And then the Young Arts Labs take place in Los Angeles in March 20th through 23rd, 2025. New York City, April 24th through 27th, 2025, and Nashville, Tennessee on June 2nd through 5th. And these are available to all award winners by lottery, but the preference is given to those who don't participate in National Young Arts Week. These labs are led by a diverse team of professional artists. The in-person intensive encourages experimentation through collaborative art making, immersive experiences, and interdisciplinary discussions, and explores principles of strengthening artistic practice and connecting to the larger arts ecosystem. All award winners gain immediate access to opportunities for funding and community connection, and further program details will be provided to eligible artists following the announcement of the 2025 award winners.
Thank you so much, Kai. I'm thrilled to open up the floor to our 3 presenters so they can speak a bit more about their experiences applying to their competition and their current engagement with Young Arts through various initiatives and opportunities. So why don't we begin with Priscilla?
Hi. Yes. So my number one advice or tip for applications, which will actually help you with a lot of other applications along the path, is making sure you get your work documented properly. If that means collaborating with some photographers you know in your life, or getting access to a camera, or just, really taking the time to set up your work in the light that it deserves to be. So I recommend going back to the website and looking at the anthology and just studying a little bit about how past winners have really framed their work or propped it, or the lighting, or cropped it in. It really makes a big difference down the line. And also it's just, you put so much work already into your product, so might as well just properly document it. And Young Arts has definitely supported me all along the way, which has been incredible, from the very first inkling of making art in high school through to even now, receiving micro grants to produce different films or performances down the line. Or my favorite one thus far was doing this studio residency in their jewel box, almost for a whole year, which was just mind-blowing, and really being able to have the time and space to flesh out ideas and collect and form, and be in conversation with people along that process, mentors, guidance. It's been a very great growth, and still is. So yeah. Shall I hand it over?
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, David.
Hello. Oh God, the photo of me. That I chose. So my tip would be and echoing what Priscilla just said, this will help you in other areas of life and your artistic career. Don't wait until the last minute to do your stuff. Part of this is logistics. You don't want to be at 7:55 on the day the application is due at 8, trying to get your stuff in with everybody else, because if the website, God forbid, has any sort of lag or anything and you miss by 1 minute, you're going to feel really silly. This has happened to me on other applications I've applied for, and it's not a good feeling. So you want to just make sure that you give yourself a little bit of a grace period. I know it's tough with school starting back up to try to be getting your stuff in amid having to deal with all of your back to school stuff. But something that I say to prospective applicants is I would consider just throwing the Instagram a follow and turning your notifications on. Just because the Young Arts Instagram will be posting their reminders to the stories and to the grid, just saying, hey, you said you were going to apply. Here's that thing you said you were going to do. And I think that tends to be a helpful thing when you're sort of absently on social media, just to have a little bit of like, yes, let me go, let me go deal with that. My story with Young Arts is kind of, I would say, a little different from Priscilla's and Kai's. Unlike them, I was not a winner with distinction. I did not go to Miami. I did not participate in any winter year programming because there were not yet labs in New York in the year 2010. But over the years, I've gotten to take advantage of jobs, grants, and seminars that Young Arts has provided. I've worked as an RA staffing the programs. I currently work as an in-school presenter, spreading the word to students and educators about the program. I've received, I have received a cash award from Young Arts, even though I didn't participate in National Young Arts Week, which was just a grant to finish a film, which was, like Priscilla mentioned, via a program called the Micro Grants, which are open to all Young Arts alum at any level. And I've also collaborated with other alumni on short films, on plays, on poetry readings. As I mentioned, there's a ton of Young Arts alumni out in the world who you'll either run into just by virtue of being a practicing artist, or who, in the case of Kai Williams, who you just heard from, was somebody that I reached out to the org specifically and asked, hey, I'm building a poetry showcase in New York. I'm looking for an amazing writer who can kind of write in this style and who writes about kind of some of the same things that I write about. And someone who worked for the org was kind enough to connect me to Kai, and we've been working together on and off for the last 6 or 7 years. So, and now I'm gonna turn it over to Kai so she can tell you more.
Thank you. Yeah, I think my application tip, this is also helpful for any type of application you're submitting, is to allocate time to get feedback. I believe that I heard about the Young Arts opportunity through a writing workshop that I participated in high school. So I was lucky to have like a set of teachers and mentors to kind of review the application that I submitted. So I think that if you're a student and you have a trusted adult or a friend who can peer review your work, I think that it's always helpful to have another set of eyes. on your work before you submit. So yeah, I think organizing the time to make sure you're able to revise once you've created your first draft is important. Yeah, I'm gonna second what David said. I think that the most important and supportive ways that I've been able to engage with Young Arts after the fact of attending the program has just been maintaining access to a really incredible network of fellow artists. I still am in contact with many people from my discipline that I met during Young Arts Week, and it's really incredible to watch their art transform over the years. Yeah, almost 10 years ago from now. And yeah, I think some of the most fruitful and important creative collaborators that I've met have been through Young Arts, including David. I think we actually met through one of my former resident advisors from Young Arts Week 2015, another writer that I still follow and engage with. So yeah, I think that having collaborators is just the most significant thing that you can participate in as an artist. So yeah.
Thank you all so much for sharing your experience and tips on how to approach the application. It is now that time in our session where we will move to the most frequently asked questions that we received from everybody's registration form. Please remember we won't be able to answer everyone's specific questions during this session, but you are more than welcome to email apply@youngarts.org if your question is not answered here. So we will have presenters go through the FAQs. Priscilla?
Just realized it got very dark in New York right now. All right, so, oh, unmute. All right. Who are the educators and how do they select winners? Your submission is evaluated on its own merit in the education process. That includes multiple rounds of review. In each round, a national pool of artists review and evaluate materials within their respective specialties. Young Arts Award winners with distinction have the opportunity to participate in an additional tier of evaluation in person.
David?
Will applicants receive feedback on the materials that they submitted? So Young Arts has established a feedback program for applications that reach the last round of adjudication process, but are not ultimately awarded, and who are eligible to reapply the following application cycle. So applicants must meet both these criteria to be eligible for this program. And if eligible, applicants will be notified via email and provided with constructive suggestions from the judges from the panel who reviewed their materials by the end of February.
Okay, how many applicants are there and how many winners are selected? So in the 2024 cycle, Young Arts received approximately 9,000 completed applications and approximately 700 winners were awarded. So we focus on the quality of each submission and not on the total number of applications received.
Where can I find the general requirements and the requirements for my discipline? The application asks for basic contact information and education information. Each discipline and category has its own media submission requirements. Please visit youngarts.org/apply for your discipline-specific requirements, i.e. classical music, dance, design, film, jazz, photography, theater, visual arts, voice, and writing. If you still have questions or specific inquiries about your discipline category, please email us at apply@youngarts.org.
Can you submit work that you have previously submitted elsewhere and or will be submitting to colleges? Yes, you may submit work that has been previously published or sent to colleges or other competitions. So we don't require exclusivity of our applicants' work, and Young Arts does not own copyright of any of the submitted work. The only thing is that if you become a winner, we do have the right to publish or use pieces in promotional materials. Basically, Young Arts just is encouraging that applicants submit whatever they consider their strongest work.
Do your academics / GPA influence your eligibility? So Young Arts does not ask for any academic information or transcripts. If an applicant is eligible for nomination in the U.S. Presidential Scholars in the Arts, they'll need to have a 3.25 GPA or higher to be considered.
Is there a theme or topic that applicants should focus on in their application? Young Arts does not require a specific theme or topic. We encourage applicants to submit what they consider their strongest work.
If not selected, can young artists still have ways to connect with Young Arts? So if an applicant is not selected as a winner and they still meet the eligibility criteria the following season, we encourage reapplying. This is really important because when I applied for Young Arts, I did not know that I was still eligible the following year. I was a freshman in college, but I had yet to turn 18. I wish someone had told me that I was, rather yet to turn 19. I wish someone had told me that I was still eligible. So bear this in mind. Check the eligibility requirements to make sure that you're still eligible the following year if in fact you don't get in this year. Young Arts also does have live programming that is open to the public throughout the season. So we do encourage folks to sign up for our newsletter to stay connected that way.
Is there a fee to apply? What if I cannot pay the fee? The application fee for applying to Young Arts is $35. Your application fee helps to offset the administrative costs of running the annual National Arts Competition. If you submit multiple applications across disciplines or categories, there is a fee for each. If you're unable to pay the $35, you may upload a letter of request. To qualify, you'll need to provide a letter from your parent, guardian, teacher, or principal requesting to waive your fee within the application. And if you are 18 years old and unable to obtain a qualifying letter, you can submit one yourself within the application. The fee waiver must be uploaded and submitted with the online application. Young Arts is not able to accept waivers over email. Fees will be automatically waived at checkout if you qualify.
Right. Are there any fees if selected as a Young Arts winner? Young Arts covers airfare, hotel for overnight programs, ground transportation within the program city, and meals for the program duration. Selected participants will receive details on covered expenses in advance of the program.
If I receive a monetary award, will the award be awarded directly to me or sent to my school's financial aid office? Winners will receive instructions on completing their award forms in the spring, and all payments will be issued by the end of May.
Are all applicants notified of their status or only winners? Young Arts award winners will be notified via the email address provided in your application. Award winners with distinction also receive a follow-up phone call using the contact information you provide in your application. All award winners will be announced on the official winners list posted on our website. Applicants who have not been awarded but who qualify for Young Arts feedback program will also be notified of their status via email. Applicants who have not been awarded and are not eligible for feedback will not receive a notification.
Thank you all. I want to leave this page on for a little bit. These are the various ways that you can reach out to us, whether it be on email, social media, and then specific web pages for frequently asked questions, and our website. The video will be posted on our YouTube channel in the next few weeks, so please make sure to join our mailing list so that you can be notified of that. Thank you for making the time to learn about Young Arts or to relearn and all that it has to offer. If you know any eligible young artist who should learn about Young Arts, please let them know about our upcoming season and that the competition is still open. Remember that the deadline to submit your application is October 17th, 2024 at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Thank you again and have a lovely rest of your evening. Good night.